I'm here with Pastor Christopher Nenga with World Impact Trust. I've known you since 2017 and all the work that you've been doing. I want to hear about it. We're catching up here in Harare. And tell me, we want to focus on the business entrepreneurial training you do, but you do a lot of benevolent work, you have daycares. Why don't you give me an overview in a couple minutes of the ministry you do? There's churches as well. Tell me all about it.
Thank you very much. I've done lots of benevolent work. We currently run a medical outreach for the elderly. Remember, in the past, Zimbabwe took farms, and in those farms there were people from Malawi, Zambia, and now they are older people, and some of them, they have no relatives in Zimbabwe. So we run a medical outreach for them. Currently we've got 31 of them who are over 70 years old, some 106. We provide them with their high blood pressure medications, asthma, diabetes, and checkups. And also sometimes we provide them with some groceries, because elderly. We have also done built one-room house for those elderly also, and some orphans. We have been also giving orphans some groceries. We have also done projects like medicals. We have provided medicals for people with special needs. Like another boy who had a tumor which was growing on his chin. We took him to the hospital, and that chin was cleared and is now good and gone back to school. We've done quite a lot, even helping kids born with club foot, strengthening their feet, and also with those elders. So basically we do education also for the kids. We are running daycare centers for orphans and vulnerable children. We have got 3 of them. I think in total number we are running about 280 kids, which we feed every day. We do feed them with 2 meals a day, porridge at 10, and a hot lunch at 1 o'clock, and they leave at 3:30. They'll be with us. So
I've been to one of those, and those children, they're so beautiful, and I'm sure they're hungry. It's from young to old, and when you mention the Malawi former farmers who are very aged, it was one of my saddest experiences, and you know the place in Karoi.
Yes.
And walking through there and seeing the conditions the elderly were living, it was heart-wrenching. So there's young, there's old, there's those that have had disabilities,
Yes.
Physical features that have needed surgery, and that's not cheap either.
Yes.
But there is the medical care if you can pay for it here in Zimbabwe. Tell me though about the churches as well, because you pastor and you have congregations you're responsible for. So this is all done in Jesus' name, isn't it? With the idea of bringing them to faith and discipling them as Christians.
I'm a full-time pastor, married to Florence, with 6 children, and some children who are adopted and fostered who stay in our house. And I believe that the church has to cater for everything, the welfare of the people. The church should not leave the responsibility of taking care of people to other people, but the church has to take responsibility. So we have planted 8 churches in Zim, and we've got 2 churches in Zambia. And we thank God for enabling us to run these churches. We don't have a church in the city. All our churches are in the villages, rural areas, and in the disused farms where people are so much marginalized. One of our churches near town is in Epworth. Epworth is one of the poorest places in Zim or in Harare. So we run churches. So our programs, we run them currently. There's World Impact Ministries, which is the church arm, and then we've got the World Impact Trust, which is the welfare arm, but the trust operates under the church. And then the EP business training also operates under the trust and also the church. So the church helps to push, because even when we do the EP business training, we also preach the gospel and ask people to make a decision to accept Jesus Christ as their personal Savior. So we've seen, last time we trained 31 commercial sex workers, and among them 21 got saved. And then when they got saved, they asked us to start a preschool. that they would put their kids so that they can start working. So they got saved through the AP business training. So we want to plug them into a local church. So currently I'm doing 8 churches here, and I've got pastors, deacons, and elders who I'm working with.
That's wonderful. I know Epworth and the poverty there, and most church planners want to be in the big city where there's money and people are more affluent. But you've gone into the rural area, you've gone into the high density areas to plant these churches. That's no small feat.
We run a program called NEIP Business Training, which is a training that we train people how to start a business with $1. The dollar is not the literal, but we say start with what you have and where you are. So NEIP is about bringing hope and joy to poor and vulnerable communities. We inspire, empower them to become faithful stewards of what they have, and so that they become entrepreneurs and philanthropists in their own right. So I think so far we've trained over 5,700 people across Zimbabwe and some SADC countries, and we have seen tremendous testimonies from this.
How many days is that training? You're teaching them to start a business and be entrepreneurial with just the little that's in their hand, like the widow's mite, like the little oil, or the widow with a little bit of bread. Is it a 3-day, 2-day? How many sessions do you do?
The whole training takes 2.5 days.
3.5 days. And how many hours a day would you be teaching?
The first day starts at 9:30 to 3:30. Second day 9:30 to 3:30. Third day 9:30 to 1 o'clock.
I've seen the curriculum. It's very helpful because a lot of people think there's nothing they can do. I've been here for a month now. There's no work. Do you have a job for me? People approaching me on the streets. The formal sector does not have a lot of employment. There's even retrenchment that's been happening.
Yes, we've seen a lot of retrenchment, and also that people always come and knock at the doors of the church and our personal doors asking for help. So the help that we can only do to them is train them how to start something small and be self-sustainable, other than just to continue asking for handouts.
It's the principle of giving a person a fish, they're back the next day for another fish, and they become dependent, whereas you're teaching people how to fish.
Yes, we use Matthew chapter 25 verse 14 to 30 about the parable of the talents, that there's nobody who doesn't have a talent. Everybody was given, but was given according to his own ability.
So God has given people abilities where they can look to God and take care of themselves and their families.
Yes, you don't have to look beyond what you have to start. Start with what you have and where you are, and God blesses you from there.
And there's a lot of women who have benefited from this training, and you have some stories and testimonies of people starting so small, but growing and being able to not only take care of themselves, but to further God's work with their finances.
Yes, we have got lots of trainings. I remember the first training we had, one lady had nothing, so we gave her $1 to start a business, and she started laughing. But when she went home, because we taught her on innovation, she just went and picked up some avocado from a tree. With $1, she bought a loaf of bread. So she spread the avocado on the bread and started selling to some construction company guys who were constructing a house nearby. That's how she started. And then another lady started buying chicken heads for $1 or for 20, and she started roasting them at her own house. And she was roasting them and selling them. Within 7 days, she had raised $16. And then now she has started her canteen business, which she had wanted to start. She's employed 2 girls, and she's able to pay fees for her children, take care of herself from $1.
And so the people who come for the training, they don't pay you for the training, and do you also give them $1 each to start?
Yes, the principle is to give them $1 when we start, and we see how faithful they are. As they go on, after 3 months, we check on them how they're doing. That's when we can try to source for our friends to help us with some big amounts or other material to use, like The other time we had to give out some ladies. We trained some sewing machines from our friends because they were faithful with the dollar. There were a group of women, 6 of them given $1 each, and by a month they had raised $247, and we managed to get them some sewing machines so that they can start. So the dollar is the initial one that we give them. We don't charge them, but sometimes because we do the training and also we provide lunches and food for them, we've got friends sometimes who come and help us to give them food and also the material that we use for the training.
And you have done over 5,000 individuals at this point.
Since we started, yes. Last year only we did 1,450, and this year we're aiming to do over 2,000.
And I've seen the graduation pictures. You actually give them a piece of paper or certificate to show they've done the training.
Yes, we give them the certificate and we encourage them that the certificate is not important. What is important is to work.
Hard work.
Yes, hard work.
And it's been hard work for you because the groups I see, I don't think any of them have been larger than 100. There might be 40, 50 average number.
Yes, we usually target between 30 to 50, but the largest group I've done before was Tanzania, at Tanzania Assemblies of God, Bagala, mothers who have never been to school. They said one grandmother from Kumbura, 245 kilometers from Harare, she was in our class. She's never been to school, but now from that group she's the best. She's running a flea market. She sells clothes, and she doesn't know how to read and write, but she can count money, and she's making a lot of money.
That is, and people who may watch this may want to support World Impact Trust Ministries, and we've supported you over the last, I think it's been about 7 years now, and watch the ministry grow, watch you do more and more, seeing how you busy yourself constantly. And you send a lot of pictures. I'm hoping we put some pictures up for people as well during this interview. But the Facebook, it's give us the details on that. If people want to contact you.
The Facebook is World Impact Trust, and also there's another Facebook for Christopher Nenga, but the World Impact Trust is for the ministry. And then we've got another one for World Impact Ministries, which post only for church activities. So the trust does the benevolence.
Remind me of your email again.
Okay, my email is anesnenga@yahoo.com.
That's great. It's just a pleasure interviewing you, and we've gotten to know one another. My wife has preached for the church out in Epworth, and I've been to the daycare, and I think Ethan, who when we first were getting acquainted, you named him after my youngest son.
Yes.
Who suddenly went to be with the Lord after a hammer throw accident.
Yes.
And I remember some of the articles we sent, Ethan's shoes, soccer equipment, gym shoes. He was very fond of shoes, Ethan was. And I think your Ethan is too. It's an honor and a privilege to partner with you, to interview you, and we ask you to pray and financially support. You can get a hold of Chris direct. Keep up the good work. We bless you and pray for you in Jesus' name. Amen. That you will abound more and more in the days to come.
Amen. Thank you.